the voices of the children that we have around us, our grandchildren, our children, our neighbors. They are bringing a lot of wisdom, and they are asking us to build a better world. And this is our responsibility, and this is what our URI cooperation circles are doing around the world. So this session starts with a lot and deep gratitude to the work that is happening. Some of it we are going to feature today, but the rest is just kind of silent. We know a little, but we are full of gratitude of what is happening at a local level.
Thank you, Maria. Now I'm going to pass it over to Agustina, who will introduce our panelists.
Hello, everyone. First of all, I'm Agustina. I'm helping Maria in CC support for those who don't know me. And for those who know me, thank you for participating and thank you for being here to all of you. I'm going to introduce our 8 panelists for the day. It's 1 panelist per region, ones including individual members and others who are participants of cooperation circuits. The first one is Anne Tulin that will not be able to participate today, but she sent a video to Ezra, so Ezra will share the video afterwards with us. She's the URI country coordinator for Australia. She provides support to over 50 cooperation circles, and she works closely with families in Australia who speak languages other than English. And she brings in bilingual workers, grandparents, and displays and activities to include all families and cultures. Then we have Dorothy Akende. I hope you all know Dorothy. She's a great person. She's the founder of House of Hilkia CC in Nigeria. House of Hilkia is a non-governmental, non-profit, and non-political birth with the goal of empowering women and providing formal and informal educational support. Then we have Edwina Cowell, that is founder of Spiritual Playdate CC in the United States. This CC is a multi-region cooperation circle, so this means that Edwina works with a lot of people around the world, and her cooperation circle is great because she has a lot of bridges built around the world. Spiritual Playdate is an online interfaith peace education program and a growing movement around the globe to bring social, emotional, and spiritual life skills to kids and their grown-ups. Then we have Mamoun Krizat. I think it's Krizat or Krizat. He's the URI regional coordinator for the Middle East and North Africa region. He's the founder and president of the Desert Bloom for Training and Sustainable Development, which is a Jordanian nonprofit dedicated to empowering people. Then we have Deepak Kumar, that is the founder and chairperson of Smiles for Millions CC in India. And Smiles for Millions works for the development of the rural community youth and the women's empowerment and connecting the world through education, which manifests openness to learn and share. Then we have Riyad Rabat, that is the Secretary General of Barasa CC in Germany. Barasa offers an international digital platform to promote dialogue and understanding between people. Together, they address the global rise of nationalism, intolerance, and racism, Islamophobia, and anti-Semitism, especially in schools. Then we have Reverend Marina Tirado from Venezuela. She's the president of the Cooperation Circle para el Diálogo. She's a practitioner of Zen Buddhism since 2019. She imparts the mindfulness teacher training for children in public and private schools in Caracas. And then finally, we have Reverend Carolyn Wilkins. She's founder and spiritual director of Inspirational Ministries and former chair of the Culver City Interfaith Alliance Cooperation Circle in the United States. Reverend Wilkins is also involved in a number of efforts that blend community buildings with interfaith work. One such effort focuses on at-risk youth in Los Angeles. Thank you. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to ask a question to each panelist and they will answer them. So we have 3 general questions and I'm going to ask the question and then the panelists will answer. And in that way, we're going to go one panelist at a time. So the first question we have is, how did you make a positive impact in your community through education? Mamoon, if you'd like to start.
Yes, I can start. Why not? You know, the word education itself for me or for our CC Desert Bloom, is about learning from any source. In addition to capacity building and traditional trainings, it includes exposures to different experiences, such as traveling, international gathering, intercultural camps. We do all this kind of activities just to enhance the youth experiences. It also includes sports, entertainment activities, even voluntary work with youth, with refugees, with elderly, and even any social gathering. So we are practicing these all things just to build the knowledge of the community and the youth particularly. We have 4 educational programs, we can say, in our organization that contributes to community development and resilience. First, we have economic empowerment, which we believe it's essential to achieve gender equality, poverty reduction, and inclusive economic growth. We conduct training courses on soft and hard skills. We develop a program about entrepreneurship competencies, and we recently do a kind of, let's say, professional exchanges. We send people to serve as volunteers for other organizations like internships. And we have a program about work and travel. We send people abroad to work, which is very new and we like it. Also, we have a program about, we call it preventing violent radicalization and extremism. We develop a training course material, and we share it with many social workers, even the government officials. We believe preventing violent radicalization is an educational focus activities, because we need to change the ideologies of young people. We need to fight extreme ideology with the knowledge, let them understand the realities of other cultures, other faiths, and we introduce to them cases about how people can radicalize without even knowing that they are. So it's a very complicated program for us, and we still developing it. And also we have a program about, let's say, train young people to think as a global citizens, to take care of the world issues, not only their own issues. We encourage them to understand the other cultures, the identity, the importance of identity of everybody. Also, with educational program, we have educational camps. We call them voluntary work camps. We bring people to do a voluntary work in the south of Jordan, where there is a lot of Bedouin communities. They can learn from the Bedouin communities. And, the Bedouin is very, all the tradition Jordanians that does not affected by westernization and the new technology. So it's good to learn from them the real culture. And we also host volunteers from all over the world in Jordan. And we encourage them to do their personal blogs to express their feelings, their experience about the Jordanian culture. And, this will bridge the gap between countries. Thank you.
Wow, Mamoon, the number of activities that you have to help your community, it's amazing. I tried to write some down and there were so many that I couldn't. So thank you for making this, for your cooperation circle to work in this area and try to help all of your community to be the best in what they do. Then we have Edwina, if you want to share now.
Hi, everyone. It's so nice to see you all today, and thank you for having me. I'm excited to talk a little bit about this because I think it's an area that we tend to not pay enough attention to in terms of our children and our youth and what we need to do. So our approach, so we are an online program and we deliver resources for global programs around the world. But what is different about our program and what we've tried to do is have a more holistic approach and start with kids at the elementary school age, at a younger age, instead of trying to reshape minds of kids that are already starting to have a lot of ideas and ideology. We feel that contextual, critical thinking skills and dialogue for young kids is really the way that we're going to create future leaders. There is a movement around the world in social emotional education. And I think any of you that are educators have probably heard about this movement. And social and emotional education are those social skills that help us to relate to each other. They're the emotional skills that help us identify our feelings so we can understand why we're behaving, you know, because we're afraid or because we're angry. We can start to understand ourselves better. So kids don't have these skills, and we have not been delivering these skills in the past. We are very good with a lot of academic and literacy, but what we don't do is teach kids to understand themselves and each other in our world. So Spiritual Playdate tackles this in a different way. Social, emotional, and what's been missing, in our opinion, is the spiritual skills too. Spiritual skills are those beautiful traditions and things that we learn, behaviors and concepts like forgiveness, gratitude, meditation, fair and unfair, justice. These are things that come from many faith traditions. They're not just something that's sort of out there in thin air, and they're not something that are taught in traditional education. So we try to tackle these, and we've tried to come at it in a little bit of a different way by coming at it through a program that is available to everybody. So parents can use it at home, teachers can use it in their classrooms or in their Sunday schools or their faith ed schools. Social workers can use it with families. Sit down and have a conversation about what fear and anxiety is. Fear is what is driving so many of us right now. Fear is what is at the core of what happens with extremism and radicalization. If you want to raise an extremist, start with a terrified child. And what we have is an entire world of terrified kids right now. And not even, let's talk about terrified adults. Okay, we have been promoting so much fear on such a level of each other. And I have so much faith in URI and all of you and all the work that you're doing, because what we're doing is not only bridging the gap, but starting to see each other as our brothers and sisters and the connection. And all of our problems come from this idea that we are separate. And we all know we are not separate. We are deeply connected as human beings. And these social emotional things are very, very important. And they are skills, and they can be learned, and they can be learned by adults, and they can be learned by children. And understanding all 20 versions of the golden rule and what it means, those are things that we can pass on. And here, I don't know if you all saw, but here in the US, we just had our census released, and the census is showing that people are leaving organized faith in droves. And as we always say, we're throwing out the baby with the bathwater. So what we are trying to do is to find a new innovative way to take that baby and make sure that we still have all of those beautiful ideas and principles that we can help to present to our kids, and not deliver it in a way where we're telling them what to believe, but delivering it in a way where we're questioning and asking and giving them options to understand themselves and the rest of the world. So thank you. And that's a little bit about what we're trying to do and how we're trying to, how we're affecting change And I would say the other thing that we're doing is our approach is to start young, 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 young. 5 years old, 4 years old, 6 years old. They're really easy to talk to. A conversation, even about sex, isn't hard at 5 or 6 years old. Though they're easy to talk to. You don't start when they're 13. They are out the door. They want nothing to do with you. They don't want to hear what you have to say. You start young. That is how, and you know what, to be completely honest, those armies that are radicalizing our youth, when do you think they start? They start when they're 6 years old, telling them this is how you get power. This is how you get money. This is the enemy. We can counter that. Early childhood education in these spiritual skills, these emotional skills, these social skills, that can counter extremism. It can make a real difference. I'm sorry, I'm going.
No, it's okay. It's great. It's what's amazing what you said. It's so interesting and so important regarding what is happening right now in the world. I mean, with schools not being able to go to school, and how important it is the early development of children, and how important it is to develop the social skills and the spiritual skills, because once you grow up, what matters are the spiritual skills and the social skills you got as a child, because you can be very intelligent in a lot of areas, but if you don't have those social skills, if you don't have importance of fear, of gratitude, how to go through anxiety, there's no way for you to grow, and there's no way for you to be better or live even. Like it's super important. I'm super grateful that you're here and that you were able to share this. So thank you very much. Next, I would like to go with Marina. She's going to speak in Spanish, but we're going to have Vasu to do the translation in English. So you're free to go, Marina, cuando quieras empezar.
Gracias, Agustina, y bueno, gracias a todos. Estoy muy contenta de estar aquí. Y bueno, más que todo mi aporte a la educación ha sido a través de la atención plena para niños. Lo he hecho desde hace muchísimo tiempo, pero con el Círculo de Cooperación para el Diálogo abrimos un programa en la Universidad Central de Venezuela que se llama Niños en un Mundo, o que se llama Niños en un Mundo de Paz, en donde los futuros profesionales tienen que hacer lo que se llama servicio comunitario. Y hay diferentes, bueno, hay una cantidad de módulos en donde se pueden desarrollar, y uno de ellos es esto que creamos, que se llama Niños en un Mundo de Paz. Entonces, teníamos diferentes módulos, o tenemos diferentes módulos, en donde le damos valores, y también el módulo que me toca a mí, y la parte que me toca a mí dar, es la parte de la atención plena para niños. Y bueno, entrenamos a estos facilitadores de futuros profesionales en diferentes áreas de la universidad, para que vayan o van a diferentes escuelas. La experiencia ha sido no solamente en escuelas, sino también en orfanatos, y ha sido muy interesante. Y en diferentes escuelas también lo he hecho yo como monja budista como del centro Zen Bodaichen que dirijo. Pero no solamente nos quedamos con ese trabajo del centro comunitario, que es muy importante y ha dado muchísimo aporte a nuestro país, a nuestra ciudad, sobre todo en Caracas, que es donde lo hacemos, sino que también creé hace muy poco tiempo una formación para docentes en atención plena para niños. Y lo hice porque me di cuenta que quizás lo que veníamos haciendo era importante, pero quedaba como allí. No había una continuidad. Y lo maravilloso que es, y los aportes tan extraordinarios que da la meditación a los niños, sobre todo comenzar a temprana edad, pues a mí me llevó a crear esta formación que comenzamos en el 2019. Lastimosamente, iba a continuar con escuelas públicas en el año 2020, pero la pandemia de verdad que me detuvo. Comencé en el 2019 con una escuela en una zona rural muy cerca de Caracas, en donde las condiciones eran bastante precarias y sobre todo todo lo que es la violencia, no solamente familiar, sino también en el entorno, en la comunidad. Y eran unos niños con muchísimos problemas, pero la formación, por supuesto, que se la di a los docentes, los cuales también sufrían muchísimo, ya que, bueno, lastimosamente en mi país los docentes son muy mal remunerados, no ganan ni $2. Y bueno, tuve la oportunidad de brindarle en ese momento a este grupo y lamentablemente no hemos podido continuar con colegios públicos porque, bueno, no tienen internet, no tienen computadoras, no tienen teléfonos inteligentes y se me hace bastante dificultoso hacerlo online. He tenido la posibilidad de hacerlo con colegios privados en lo que ha sido el año pasado y también conectado con un colegio en México y tuve la oportunidad, que estamos todavía en la formación de 6 semanas, dándole a docentes de escuelas de México. La idea también es que no solamente sea para Venezuela, sino para toda América Latina. Y el efecto de verdad que ha sido extraordinario y sé que los beneficios son muy importantes. No quiero extenderme más. Gracias.
Muchas gracias, Marina. La verdad que es súper interesante y súper lindo lo que decís sobre la importancia de formar a los docentes para que puedan ayudar a los niños en sus peores momentos o en unas áreas que tal vez no están tan desarrollados. Creo que a veces nos olvidamos de la parte humana que necesitan los docentes para poder ayudar a los niños a transitar y a pasarla mejor, porque no es solo sentarse enfrente de un pizarrón y enseñar, sino es enseñarles todo, enseñarles a vivir, enseñarles realmente todo y también a resolver un poco las cosas que pasan en casa. Así que me parece lindísimo y fantástico lo que estás haciendo. Te agradezco mucho por estar acá y por haber compartido esta experiencia, estos objetivos, estos sueños que tenés con nosotros. And then I would like to, I think, Basu, you were able to translate everything. I hope all the English speakers were able to hear what Marina said. It was wonderful. Were you able to hear it? Please say yes.
Yes.
Okay, great, wonderful. Then I'm going to ask Riaz Rawat from Marasa CC to share with us, please.
Sure, thank you. Thanks, Augustina. And can I just begin by thanking all of you for being here today, but also to colleagues in URI who have set today up. Just to begin with, it would be remiss of me at a conference where we have colleagues from around the world not to express my solidarity with all of you as we face this pandemic. The situation is varied in different parts of the world. We are all suffering, but my heart goes out particularly to colleagues in Brazil and in India. And my family history, my family origins go back to India, Africa as well. But I offer you, all of you, my thoughts and my prayers. I hope you are staying safe. I hope your families, friends, and colleagues are all staying safe. In terms of the question around how I made a positive impact in the community through education, well, I have three things to say. First of all, by taking risks. Secondly, by being creative. And thirdly, by encouraging critical thinking. I've been very fortunate enough that I can draw upon many examples to answer the questions that have been set today, but because of time, of course, I will only draw upon a small number. I work for Baraza, based in Germany, but my substantive role is at St. Philip's Centre, which is based in the UK, where up until the pandemic, we were working with nearly 10,000 children per annum in one or more of our programs. Now, who do we work with? Well, I think we are at our strongest in terms of taking risks when we work with unfamiliar audiences. Now, there is a value in speaking to a club of like-minded individuals. That's always very useful. But in order to sustain peace and keep that maintained in the long run, we have to reach out to new audiences. As a colleague said earlier a few minutes ago, the census in the United States, we are increasingly faced with societies which are changing in character, changing in content. And we, in the world of peace, need to keep a pace with that. Now, working with unfamiliar audiences, of course, carries risks, but it's a risk worth taking in my view. What have we done? What have I done? Well, there are a number of initiatives that I've run, from leadership programs for 15 and 16-year-olds in Germany through Baraza, through our religion and belief roadshows in the UK. This is I guess, a flagship program that we run through St. Philip's Centre. We have 9 or 10 different people from different religious and belief backgrounds. We jump onto a minibus, we take food, clothing, artifacts with us, we go into a school and we have a big celebration, everything under one roof. So we've shown creativity by doing that. Of course, workshops, visits, which are all about encounter. One of my big regrets during this pandemic has been that a lot of the encounter has been through, of course, technology. Now it's valuable. I've met more people than I would have ever done before the pandemic, but nothing beats that human connection. And I hope and pray that those days arrive. And of course, creating resources. And I'll give one example. This is our much heralded resource from Baraza, which is a coloring book for children, which you can download freely from our website. It's a way in which we can make this subject fun for young children, whether they're 5, 6, or even older. In fact, many adults like using this coloring book as well. So I would strongly encourage all of us to pass time by having a look at that. Now, how do we do this? Well, we do this by what I call delivering fair witness. Now, that is where we do not compare the best of ourselves with the worst of the other, or vice versa. That's not an equal place. That doesn't deliver social justice. We need to deliver fair witness where we compare the best of each other whilst addressing some of the challenges and the problems that we share as well. So bringing on board people who live and breathe a variety of different religions and beliefs is always important. For me, it's about how we humanize the encounter. Simply relying on a textbook or a video is not enough. It's a lot more powerful when we meet and greet and engage with people. And what's the result of all of this? The result is, I've looked at it as threefold. The first thing is around the imparting of confidence. This is not just about students. So when we have delivered programs in schools, I recognize fully that not only are we connecting with the children or the young adults, we are also connecting to the teachers and also indirectly to their parents. That's really important to recognize. We have to cascade our messages. The feel-good factor. The feel-good factor is by seeing diversity as a strength. And boy, do we need feel-good factor right now, here and indeed around the world. But there is something strong and valuable in that. And lastly, what Edwina said as well earlier on, around lifelong learning. This never stops. You could be 5, you could be 55, you could be 75, you could be even older than that, but never stop learning. Learning is an asset. It's something which will never stop. It's a skill, it's a strength. The more people we meet, the more we will enrich our knowledge and also allow us to be much more considerate towards our neighbors and friends. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Riaz, for all this sharing. All that you said was super interesting. And I loved that just like Baraza is based in Germany, but also you're doing your work in the UK. So you have like all these experiences and these activities that what you learn in the UK, you can share it with Baraza directly in Germany. And you have like this ongoing of experiences. And I also love what you said about being creative and encouraging and engaging, like how important it is to engage a conversation with someone and not only share like theory or what you read, like really engaging from the bottom of your heart what you want and what you feel. I think that's really important. And I also love what you said when you said that we don't compare the best of ourselves with the worst of the other. I think that's wonderful because we should definitely always have to think like, how we work, like how we are, it doesn't make you a better person if you're better at something. It makes you a better person if you are able to work with your strengths to do work for the others. So I think that's very that you
Uh-oh, August, I think we lost you. While we're waiting for her to come back, I'll pass it over to you, Deepak.
So greetings from India,
Deepak?
and I hope, yes, am I audible now?
Yes.
Great. So greetings from India. I hope you all are doing well. And first of all, I would like to start this session with two mantras and for entire safety of the world, because we have been facing with the so many challenges, but the kind of situation we are facing, especially if we talk about India, and as our friend also mentioned about it. So we want 30 minutes prayer so that we can close our eyes for the entire globe and entire family. We will be, I will be just chanting the two mantras for the entire world so that we can feel that, yes, we are one. And URI, this is what URI is strengthening us always. So let us close our eyes for 30 seconds so that I can I can chant the two mantras for entire globe and humanity. Then I will start my presentation as well. So Om Bhurvah Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. Om Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukmeva Vandanat Mityor Muktiyamamrita. Peace to the world. Thank you. Thank you very much for your prayers. May all the family live in strength at this situation. So again, let's come back. My name is Deepak Kumar, and I'm the founder and chairperson of Smiles for Millions. And I'm feeling so proud to be the part, one of the member or one of the family member of United Religions Initiative working all across the globe. So today's topic is very, very important. And this is not the topic, but this is the lifeline of our humanity that is called quality education, and how URI is helping for this. So I would like to take a best example, like how URI, when I joined URI before 4 years, I was not aware about it, how to do, what to do, when to do, for whom to do. But URI taught us. This is even one of our mentor beyond Maria ma'am and Sarah and everyone is here. So I would like to take one name also, Robin ma'am. Robin, she's taught us so many things. I think you all have whatever you have taught. So that this is what we have implemented on ground, not only in India, but all across the globe. Right now, I would like to take one of the best example how URI is playing a great example to spread a great education all across the globe. That is Peace for Dalits Foundation. We have here Mr. Manoj Ram. Today in Nepal, more than 20,000 children are getting free of cost education. And in that education, they are getting the quality education. This is just because of URI. And I'm feeling so blessed how URI has connected India, Nepal, and how we are growing again and again. And we have started from India in 2000, it was 13, it's 2021. Then the same model was introduced in other countries. They called me up. They said, how you are doing this? I said, follow URI, follow the URI principles. Everything is there. Follow how the culture of URI, the same thing. The name was given Peace for Dalit Foundation. This is how we have started. So I think this is the best example, and I would like to show you a few pictures how we can do it. Now, before I go to the picture, I would like to thank entire family of URI who is always supporting not only the smiles for millions, but there are so many smiles. There are so many smiles which is created on millions by URI. That is why our organization name is Smiles for Millions. So by 2025, we are going to educate more than 10 millions of children all across the globe. Just because of this, because whatever the connections has URI given to us, we are going to pay back to the society, and this is how we are growing. This is what the miracle of URI is. And I would like to tell you that how we can help other. Everyone sitting here is a professor. Everyone sitting here is a teacher. You know, you have your Zoom app. Right now we are connected through Zoom. I think I have ever first time listened about Zoom through URI. Nowadays, people is listening about what is URI, okay, what is Zoom, everyone is knowing. But in 2016 or in 2015, I came to know about the Zoom. I think this is the power, how URI is teaching us. This is us. I would like to tell each and everyone to observe URI, how URI is doing that. I think a lot of lessons we have got from the three teachers we have here. Our mentors, they spoke so many things we have to write in our mindset. And this is how we can share, okay? And now coming next, I think I have very less time, but I will speak and I will tell you that we all have a teacher inside us. We know, even the children is here. I would like to say, you know what is A and B and what is C. So you know the 26 alphabets of the A, B, C, D to Z, okay? We also call it Z, or we also call it G. So if we know B, if we are on B, just teach A. If we know C, teach A and B to others. This is how we can grow the quality education culture to the humanity. So I would like to request you, you have your 40 minutes of free of cost Zoom app. You can share that Zoom app to your country, to your society. This is how we are growing in pandemic. Many of the slums children, they are not having their mobile phone, but now they have at least one mobile phone, and from that mobile phone they are learning. So if we know B, it means we have A, we have to teach A. If we know A, B, C, D, and we are on E, we have to teach A, B, C, and D. It means 4 we can teach. So no need to become PhD holder, no need to become a master's degree holder. Whatever that we have, we can. And we were also listening about the lifelong learning which we have to share to others. So I think I request everyone to educate. I hope my voice is there. Sorry, my call was there. So now, finally, I would like to take last 1 minute. I would like to show how sorry. So I would like to take last 1 minute, and I want to show you how we can change the education through URI. Let me share one screen with you. Please wait. So I think I can show you here. I hope this is visible to each and everyone.
Yes, we can see the pictures,
Okay,
Deepak.
so you can see
Thank you.
here how we started. We have started from the ground. We can teach to anyone. You can see these children, the future of these children. These are the slums children. Many of the children, they might not have their parents. They are single parents. How will understand? They have no money. They can be the hero. Okay, you can understand we are working in rural areas. Vishwadev sir is also here. You can understand the differently able people. We are also supporting them. We are giving education. We are giving the menstrual education to the girl children. We are letting her know not to sigh, but you have to come in front. Okay, you can see these children, girls were having their sanitary pads in their hand. This is also a kind of education in slums India, means rural India. These are the slums children. We are teaching them how we can develop the community for the education. You can see how the women, we are teaching women how, what kind of lifelong learning or soft skills we can teach to the slums children or their children in their home. So this is how we are doing the things in India. We are also working on some of the empowerment for women. This is also a kind of teaching. We are going to the schools. We are teaching free of cost how, what we can do next, what will be our future, how, what will be the career after some time. We have to celebrate. We are celebrating birthday in our home, but we understand, but if we are going to give few seconds to the slum children, they will be enlightened. Not only the slum children, any children in the world. We after the education, we are coming from the schools and colleges. You can see how the BTIX Sahas Foundation is teaching to the slum children. They don't have any home to live in. They are living in plastics, but they can, you can see, living in the plastics. They carried out the plastics and they are sitting on the plastics and getting education. In some others, this is how rural education is going on. And this is the slums children. You can understand, they were not having how to wear good clothes, how to wear the hygienic clothes. Now they, you can see their lives have been changed. So you can see this is the power, how we have started from the URI. This is the oldest picture. You can see these pictures, how we are doing in rural areas, how we can empower them. So I think, thank you very much. I have just shared some of my pictures of the life, how we have brought change through URI. So thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. So how we are working. Again, I'm going to say URI is blessings for us, not only for us, but for the entire world. URI has not changed our lives, but they have changed the millions of lives. And we are feeling so proud of URI that we are the family members of URI. Now, India and Nepal, we are growing so many. We have taken so many things from URI. This is why we are teaching them. This is why. And now, how we are teaching? We are teaching to say, if you want to learn, you have to plant a tree. It means we are connecting education through means environment. And when we are going to educate them, then the empowerment will come. That is why URI means Smiles for Millions always says we are working on 3E model. It means education to environment, then empowerment. If they will be educated, empowerment will come. Thank you very much, URI, for giving me this platform and opportunity. We salute. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Deepak, for this wonderful sharing. Thank you for making URI so inspirational and so important in everyone's lives, in an everyday life. So thank you for this. And I really love what you said about everyone is a teacher and that we have the teacher inside of us. Like, do not forget about that and embrace it and try to use that teacher inside of us to help someone or help a group of kids or young adults or even adults or grown-ups to continue learning and to make them better and to make us better also. So thank you so much for this sharing. Thank you, really, thank you for making URI so great and so important, and thank you for helping to create these millions for these Smiles for Millions for everyone. And then I would like to ask Reverend Carolyn Wilkins to share with us, please.
Reverend Carolyn, you're on mute.
You're on mute.
I unmuted, but it kept going back. Thank you so much. And Deepak left after his magnificent presentation. I go between California and New Mexico. So I'm in the southern part of the United States. But because of Zoom and the opportunities that I've been doing for many years, I have had global outreach in a lot of the training that I've been doing. So I appreciate being here, and my involvement is through 3 or 4 different areas. And I will summarize and just focus on a few. But the first, as Summers has already said, is on the spiritual. As a minister, I teach spiritual principles, but I teach things that people can use in everyday life, and how to be loving and compassionate given what's going on today. Because my intention is to ensure that what we learn is not just to keep to ourselves, but to share with the world. That there is an active love that we must choose. We can't talk about love and keep it in our hearts and not be active in supporting people who are homeless. We're near the border and there's immigration going on. So it's a conversation that takes you to action. This other thing is talking about with ease and fairness what we're doing in the world, outreaching in the world with a sense of compassion. One of the other programs that I'm involved in is about inclusivity and belonging, and that's through Faith in Action, an organization that is the largest, is a very large religious organization in the United States. And they have brought a program called Belonging to the communities. And it has been very powerful of teaching belonging in LA many times and in New Mexico several times. And the intent is to get people together, a group of 10 that then goes out and teaches another set of groups. And by coming together and talking about what we have in common, it makes a difference in people not shying away from each other. We have been able to create segregation and challenges and racism and all sorts of other isms by focusing on one group or another in power. What belonging helps us do is to break down the barriers of what we think we know. And I've always found that in the conversations, people may have worked with each other for 5 or 10 years. And when we go through this process, they always say, I didn't know that about the person that they may have sat next to. And it's because we don't take the time to go deeper, to dig deeper, and to connect at a deeper basis. So Belonging is a very special program, and it's part of my work in diversity, inclusivity, and in healing racism in the world. A third program I want to share has to do with the art of living, which I've been to India a couple of times through the work that's done there and in the Institute for Nonviolence. And those programs are both focused on youth, teaching peace and nonviolence, emotional intelligence, meditation. And it's about having choices and making choices, about looking within and understanding the power that you have. And also recognizing that there are challenges of systemic issues, of economic issues, of justice issues, and don't let that define who you are. And the power of breath is the most important power that you have. And then the fourth thing, I just want to focus on something very quickly. During the past year, the most important work I've done has been a program called Breathe With Me. And it's in reaction and support of the Black community in regard to the George Floyd situation that you all know about, because there have been marches around the world. And I have led a weekly meditation on Wednesdays that we have conversations and breakout groups of people who are able to come and voice their fear, their concern, their not knowing quite what to do. And by being able to teach them
Cierto.
places of emotion and places of feelings and being able to express their feelings, but also to teach them breathing. People have said, "You have saved my life," because we have been in an environment where we don't talk about the pain and the hurt. And over the year, we've all been, every week, there's something new that has come up, a new shooting, a new killing, and it's hard for people to take in and live through it. So I think it's probably some of the most important work I've done, and people have said last week, since there was a verdict, that they're exhausted. However, they're grateful that we've been doing this together. The other thing I've done through Compassionate Arts is to teach peace and compassion through the arts. So we've gotten young people together and they've been able to express themselves. We've asked them, what does peace mean to you? And they've expressed it through art, through music, through dance, paintings. And that's been a powerful expression of teaching. And of course, they're teaching us of how to reach them and what it means to be with them. So I believe I've covered most of the things, but it's really a heart connection with people, allowing others to know that they're important, that who they are matters, what they think matters, and what they contribute matters. So the best place I can be as an educator is a listener, and to use the real meaning of education, educare, which is to bring out and reveal what is within each of you. Blessings.
Thank you, Reverend, for sharing. Thank you. I think that a lot of things that you said are very remarkable and very important to start having them in our everyday life. Like the last thing that you said right now, like being an educator as a listener, I think that's like something that's so small to be a listener to someone, but so big for the one that is telling you something, for the one you're being, like the one who needs to be listened by someone. So I think that's, first of all, that's great. And then I love what you talked about teaching belonging. Like we never reflect on our belonging and how many times has someone felt that they don't belong somewhere, and here you are teaching them to feel and to understand how they belong and where they belong, in what way and doing what. Or it doesn't have to be a physical place where you belong, but really in spirituality, where do you belong? So I think that the work you're doing is wonderful. And thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing. It's really valuable for me and for everyone here that is participating. So thank you, really thank you. And last, I would like to ask Dorothy to share with us.
Hello, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much, Agustina and Maria. My name is Dorothy. I came from Nigeria. I hope you can hear me.
We hear you loud and clear.
Okay, good. So I'm the executive director of House of Hikia Foundation. Mostly one area which we are focused on is providing formal and informal education for young people, young girls and youth in our community. When my dad was a little boy, his dad was very, very poor. So he got admission to school and the dad couldn't sponsor him to school. So the community taxed themselves. They got the money together and so that they can pay his school fees. So, but one of the uncles took the money and he squandered my dad's school fees, and my dad got angry and said he was going to join the military so that he will go and die. And yeah, he fought during the civil war in Nigeria, and yeah, he sustained some injuries, but thank God he's not dead, because at least I have my life here to testify to that. So he swore to himself that people who are going to come around him are going to have access to education. And thanks to that, when we were born, we were 7, all of us were able to go to school, at least good schools. We can read and write very well. But one thing I've noticed is that whenever we go to our communities, we go to the villages, whenever we talk, there's a very, very big gap between us and people in the village. And you see that they have there's the hunger for them to learn, but there's no opportunity. And so most of the time I ask questions like, why are you not in school? Why are you not, why are you know, what are you doing this? Then you see some of them getting married at the age of 15, 14 and all that. And sometimes you hear parents saying that, the women saying that, oh, the uncle says she should get married because the mother cannot sponsor the girl in school. And so that prompted me to, we now launched the Educate for Greatness project. And our target with it is to focus on young people, as in children in the rural areas, the orphans, the ones that, the young girls, like right now we are currently working with with children whose parents died of HIV. And the community are like, oh, the parents died of HIV, so we cannot get close to you. And so these children, a particular man picked them up and he was training them. So we got to know about what the man was doing and we went there. So even where they were learning, the environment was very, very, if I was learning that kind of environment, I know that I don't think I want to go far in education. So we partnered with him. Unfortunately, the man died last year. And so we went back to the community to see how we can, because the children are not paying any money. The women are the ones running the school, about 4 of them. They're teaching the children for free and all that. So we have been going there. We have see how we can build eco-friendly toilet for them, provide a good learning environment. And thanks to the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, they launched the Education for Justice project, and we were able to get materials from there because I'm part of that project here in Benin State. And so we got materials from Vienna, where they launched some of the material.
Dorothy, can you hear us?
Come in from far and wide, their relatives come in and take these children out for human trafficking. Because we just had a case of a 13-year-old boy who was taken out of school. The parents didn't even know what happened, and he was taken out of school. So he was trafficked, and he was discovered, and they were rescued, and they brought back. So we are using these tools that UN have on their website. We've downloaded the short videos that's teaching young people, because it's supposed to educate people on whether you're in school or you're a young child on the street. So they did this video that is very, very easy, and we have the trainer materials to train young people. So we have been able to print those materials that we give to those teachers to say, okay, this is how you're going to teach these young people in the rural areas. And then also we are working with young girls. Like we have a case of about 5 young girls who were brought to us that they were going to be given out in marriage. And these are young girls who said they want to go to school. One of them said, I want to be a surgeon. And I asked her, why do you want to be a surgeon? She said, because she saw a man operating in her in where she lives, and she normally goes to watch them operate. And now this girl is about 40 years old, and the dad is late. The mom, she's very, very poor. And the uncle is saying that, we have to give you out for marriage so that we can get a bride price. Your mom don't want us to enjoy a bride price. So when we had her case, we got there, and one of the things we were able to do is that we were able to interact with the parents, because we cannot do this thing without the parents in the community. We need their support. So we were able to pay her school fees, and we're like, okay, go write your exam, and let's see how we can put you after school. We can engage you in skill and acquisition, and you understand. So these are some of the activities we've been we've been doing, and I've discovered that there is a very big gap between those of us in the rural area, in the urban areas and the rural areas. And one of the things we can also do in our communities, wherever you are right now, is that you have to engage the people, the stakeholders, especially those people in the rural areas. Like right now, we are working to engage all the traditional rulers. We are trying to tell them that you need to pass laws that no girl below the age of 18 should get married. If they want to go to school, they should be allowed to go to school. So we, and also the women, we are like, okay, women are most influenced in the home. Some of these men listen to their wives. So we are going to get the stakeholders' wives. We're going to be talking to them because there's a very, very big gap. Whenever anything is happening, when we come together, these women don't even understand what is going on. So we have to engage the women, engage the men, and see that this is why in this place we are not developing, because you are not doing this the right way. You are depriving the girl child. You are looking down on this one because the person is a disabled person and all that. So these are some of the things we've been able to do, and through the support of the Education for Justice, we've been able to provide materials to support young people right there in the rural areas. And we are looking at impacting about 4,000 young people between now and 2023. So probably that is what we've been doing, and thank you.
Thank you, Dorothy. Thank you for sharing, for everything you said. Thank you for inspiring young children to be better and to have big aspirations into their future world and in what they have to be, because kids are free to do everything and they're free to dream and have their biggest aspirations. And we are the ones who help them create the path. So thank you for doing this in your community. Thank you for creating this space for them. Thank you very much. And I wanted to add something else to what you said. Yeah, no, basically that. Thank you for taking care of your community, for paying attention to rural schools, which is something really important that we have to take care of. And thank you all for being here. Thank you all for all the things that you said were so valuable and so important for everyone. I learned a lot, really. I have a lot of things to reflect. And now, Azra, if you could please share Anne's video so that we can hear her. Thank you.
This is sort of a historical bit of an overview, sorry. But in the 80s and 90s, I worked in kindergartens with large groups of families from Vietnam. I was fortunate to work with a bilingual assistant, and together we developed curriculum initiatives to share aspects of their culture and religion with all the families at the centre. In the late 90s, I was working at a kindergarten with a large number of families where Greek and Italian ancestry were predominant. I worked closely with a Greek bilingual assistant. We developed a curriculum that included close ties with the Greek Orthodox Church across the road. Children visited the church and their priests visited us. The school opened at the church and we had lots of networking and communicating with the children and the staff. At the end of the year function, the priest blessed the kindergarten with water and basil. This was all done not as a proselytizing exercise, but as a means to promote understanding and build relationships between families from different religious and non-religious backgrounds. After the 9/11 tragedy, I was working with a Muslim family. The mother and I worked together to build a curriculum that honoured Islam. She spoke to the children and explained aspects of the religion together with mounting displays with information for parents. We organised a visit to the local mosque where children and parents learned about Islam and were able to interact with Muslims. Years later, she gave me a book she'd written on her life as a Muslim. And over the next few years, we had several visits to the mosque, and one of the most moving experiences when a mother newly arrived from the Indian subcontinent and without fluent English was able to demonstrate to us all the prayer ritual. All eyes were on her as she showed us how to pray. The curriculum also always included education about our Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander First Nations, in particular the local Indigenous culture and the spirituality of the Kaurna Aboriginal people. So strategies that we used included songs and stories in different languages, displays and equipment of different religious and cultural traditions and celebrations throughout the play-based environment. We had incursions and excursions with Aboriginal elders and with others from different cultures, different religions. We had visits to different places of worship. We also encouraged family and community members to share activities with the children and their families. Hence, the positive impact was both for families from non-Anglo backgrounds, in that their culture, traditions and languages were included in the curriculum to give a sense of belonging and agency, but for all families from all backgrounds, bridges were built and understandings of diversity were made possible.
For me,
Yep. So Sarah had asked if any of you would like to share more about the role you see education playing in the healing community wounds, trauma, and conflict.
anyone who would like to share it would be great. From the panelists, please.
So I'm here. Hi, this is again Deepak here. So I would like to not take much time, but I would like to take one example, right? How it can heal. Okay. So one example right now we have here Mr. Manoj Ram, who is looking after the URI center in the lower part of Nepal. Okay. So those people which we named, that is called Peace for Dalits. Okay, so you can understand the name. Dalits is the community which we should not use, but why we are using? To remove this word from the society. Dalits means untouchables, so they are separated from the society. And if you will go in the village now, because I'm also from village, you will see those communities are set apart from the society because they are untouchables. So why? Means even in the like ancient time, there were categories of the people. But when we come about the education through our URI projects, so now they are getting education. They have never got kind of education for the like how they can speak in English, how they can have some like moral education. They have some soft skills. They never have heard about it. When they joined the URI communities, they came to know that how world is growing, and they have come in the like in the environment of global culture. Just because of that culture, they were thinking that we are Dalits, we are untouchables, so we should set aside. We are not the part of the good family or the good society. But now they are healing themselves. Now we are also equal. We have the equal opportunities. If we can grab the quality education, we can also be on the same level where those kind of people, I would like to say the great impact what was seen after 2 years. Now those children have got quality education. Most of the people from the capital city of Nepal, they are coming to learn from those children how they have given impact and how they have changed their life. And this is how we can heal the society from the psychologically, from the morally, and from everywhere we can do it. And this is how we can do it. And one more thing I would like to add, finally, that in 2022, India, Nepal, our Smiles for Millions organization, URI communities, is going to form the world's first slums university, where all these children will be getting the quality education, not only the education, but the skill set which the world like Google, like you can say many of the good reputed MNCs required. We are going to give them the education, free education, because we are asking and requesting so many corporate world people to come in, to give their time, at least 20 to 30 minutes in a week. Now they are ready to give, because when they will keep their kind of skill set in those children, because our Almighty has not given us such kind of thing that you belong to the Dalit family, you cannot learn. Everyone is equal. This is what URI is teaching us. We are interfaith community. We have all power is equal. Only the thing is we have to put something, the skill set in them, and they will be placed in the organization like Microsoft, Google, ISRO, NASA, you will see, and that all will be done through the slums and university, free of cost, all across the globe. This is my answer from my side and our thinking. Thank you.
Thank you, Deepak. Since we have 8 minutes left, I would like Ezra to ask the second question that was asked.
Well, I see, Edwina, you had your hand raised to answer this question. Go ahead. You're on mute, Edwina.
Hi, sorry, I'll make it brief. I think in addition to, just this an entire global movement that we have going on and all of this amazing communication, I think that, there has been this enlightenment that some of the delivered theology that we've all experienced has not been appreciated by many of us. So there are many that are looking at that approach and trying to find a better contextual way to sort of sustain many of these faith movements and many of these faith traditions without indoctrinating kids. And that's some of the stuff that we're talking about down at the elementary school level. And that is one of the reasons we have so many people that are running from organized religion, is because the faith education, which, many of us probably feel should be a peace education movement, has been more of an indoctrination. And I think that this is something that's sort of happening naturally through attrition. It's happening through a new awareness, and it's happening through organizations like URI, which can look at the historically, how the faith ideas have been delivered and the disparities in the ways that many of them have been delivered, and start to come at it with just an entirely new approach. And I think that's what we're going to see in the future. You're going to see so much more of this. And I think that just the natural inclusion of the diversity of abilities, of skin color, of faith traditions, all these things are, they've been exposed. We see them now and we understand them. So those things are going to come together as well in education. And thank you all for that. And in part to all of us, but in part to the natural movement of what's happening on our with innovation and technology.
Thank you. Reverend Carolyn, and then Riaz, and then I'll wrap our time up. Reverend Carolyn, oh, there you go.
One of the most powerful opportunities that I've had to experience is bringing young people together and adults with the law enforcement community. And what they're learning from each other is very profound and powerful, because especially as you've all watched the over policing in Black and brown communities, there has to be a new conversation around that. And part of what I've been able to do in programs through Institute for Nonviolence and Days of Dialogue is to have police and law enforcement speak and listen to community, and also have community speak and listen to law enforcement. And when they take their arms away, the guns, and take the guns off and the badge off, underneath it, they're people too. And when young people have the opportunity to speak to them, they're able to connect on a different level. So I think no matter what we're doing, whether it's institutionalized, whatever, sexism, racism, ableism, when we come together in healing conversations, that's where the teaching happens, that's where the listening happens, and that's where the change happens. Thank you.
Thank you, Riaz.
Thank you. Colleagues, I will keep this brief. Of course, in answer to the question, each context, each situation is very different. What may work with one may not necessarily work with another. But I look at both parties, or if we're talking about a community conflict or a community trauma, hopefully wanting a win-win situation, not a win-lose situation or a lose-lose situation. This is about both parties feeling that they can gain. And for me, it would be 4 principles which would undergird the approach. And they would be encounter, trust, understanding, and cooperation. In that way, the encounter between humanity, face to face, ideally, education not behind a screen, but where we can, of course, in person, personalizing the approach. In terms of trust, this is as much about the messenger as the message, because that's the next stage. Understanding, where both parties feel that they have got to a stage where their respective positions are appreciated by the other. And then finally, cooperation. And cooperation can be quite challenging, quite problematic. But we all know within within our nations, within our democracies, within our countries that we live in, it's about negotiation, it's about balance. It's not about me wanting all of my rights and not bothering about anybody else. That's not a healthy society. That's not a successful society. The day I speak up for somebody who is different from me and respect their human rights, respect their life to their right to exist even, is the day that we will be better as a society. So for us to speak for people over the garden fence, not just those who are within the confines of our own families, but speak up for others. And the day that they speak up for us is the day that we'll be much healthier, much more positive society.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I just want to say thank you to each one of our panelists. If we could just give them a round of applause for just who they are, and thank you for all of the work that you all are doing. I am so inspired and have learned so much from each one of you. I know that this conversation could continue for another couple of hours, but unfortunately we're at the end of our time here together today. But what we'll do is we'll actually send out to each one of you following this a little bit more about each one of our speakers and the organizations that they work with and their work in general. And then we'll also share more information about smaller follow-up conversations that we'll have where we can actually go deeper with a smaller group of the panelists to really learn more about what they're doing in depth and to see what we can do in our own communities. So I just want to say thank you for joining us. Thank you from the entire URI team. Thank you to each one of our panelists again, and thank you to each of you as participants. We look forward to you, if you are not already involved in URI as some member, whether it be an individual member or a cooperation circle member, that you would then come and join us, come and work with us in this incredible community that we are a part of. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And I look forward to seeing you all again at some of our smaller sessions, and have a good rest of your day. Thank you.
Thank you for the panelists. Thank you, Agustina, for this wonderful facilitation, Ezra. And let us have these children, the ones that you are serving, in our minds, in our hearts, in our positive intentions, in our prayers, because we are building a world for them, and we want them to build a world that is open to all, that includes everyone and leaves no one behind, and all voices are heard. Blessings to each and everyone.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.